Madam President, I move that the board approve the February 14, 2022 agenda.
Second.
All right. Time for a report of board members. Anybody have anything they'd like to share?
I'll just do a little quick share out. I will say it's been a pleasure. I often find myself talking to some of our teachers and our students and parents who are all key stakeholders. So all of these incidents have been really positive in just learning areas where we have concerns and areas of growth and some of the positives. So I really appreciate and value feedback.
All right.
I would just say, no report, but thank you for all the gifts and recognition we've already received for School Board Appreciation Month. I told some people, if you don't come tonight, you don't get appreciated. You get appreciated. You got to be here to get appreciated. But no, we thank you, and hopefully we'll be able to read some of the funny notes and comments that we get the next meeting.
I'm excited. It means I don't have to rush home and do laundry. I got new shirts for the rest of the week. All right. And Dr. Markley is not feeling well tonight, so our report of our superintendent is going to be with Dr. Shelton.
Thank you, Ms. Blank. As you've noted, School Board Appreciation Week is coming up, March 6th through the 12th. And you can see how greatly you are appreciated for all your effort and your time that you put into making sure that our district is outstanding. And we do appreciate your leadership and your vision that you provide our district. So thank you so much. Legislative update. This is Dr. Markley's pride and joy and love. There are a lot of things going on in Jeff City. One thing that they're working on right now is the appropriation of about $2 billion in ESSER 3 funds. They've tied that to a couple of other funding measures like the Medicaid expansion and the state employee raises. And so it's been bogged down a little bit, but all things indicate that it's going to get appropriated, and at that point then we can start requesting those funds through ESSER 3. They have to have it done by March 24th or it returns to the federal treasury, but all indication is they will get that done. Missouri is the only state in the union who hasn't appropriated these funds, so surely we can get this done. Also, there's legislation out there about open enrollment, as well as charter school funding, and so pay close attention to that. And that's always something that's on the agenda for some folks that are at Jeff City, but it's on the agenda again. You can see that we have a report of the secondary and the elementary principals on there. Also the monthly data, the random student drug testing. Last month, we only had one student that tested positive. That's great to know. The grant writer report is there. Nothing new to report necessarily. We are getting ready for some applications to be pushed out. And then summer school, right around the corner. Even though it's February and it's chilly outside today, we are preparing for summer school. It is an action item. Dr. Tarbin and Dr. Huff would like to talk about summer school.
All right, so you'll notice that there is an attachment Dr. Tarbin put together for summer school. There's really two main things here. You'll notice that the motion is in relation to just the summer school dates. That's a yearly vote that you all take, just affirming that we do indeed have summer school, and here are the dates for summer school. The other major thing you'll notice on the attachment is Dr. Tarbin went into detail about the effectiveness of July summer school. One of the things that we have been really investigating closely is where do we get the biggest bang for the buck in summer school. What we have found, what we've determined really, is we get the best bang for our buck having students who are struggling to be supporting the same models we have during the regular school year, and that is through a pull-out model, through having specialists, reading and math specialists, pull out into small groups. But having the students go through a regular summer school, we found that to have the best success. You'll see that the July summer school, we didn't see to have the kind of fruit that we were hoping. So what we'd like to do is consolidate our summer school efforts into June, providing the very best June summer school that we can with the greatest amount of support and having all of our students go there. We found actually even the students who went to June and July both, we didn't see a big bump even when they're in that extended amount of summer school. And I'll tell you my own personal feeling is that students can only take so much. They need a break too. So we really feel we're going to get the best bang for our buck out of just a June summer school. So Lynn is here for any questions that you might have.
I just have a question, and I'm only asking because I don't know. Since we're not doing July, you know, it seems to make sense to do June, but since part of the issue of school in general is what kids forget over the summer.
Yes.
Since we're just doing 1 month, do we think about maybe taking a longer break between end of regular school and then do that month like from the middle of June to the middle of July, so there's not so much time to forget before the next school year starts?
Yeah, we could. The problem is that you've got July 4th in the middle of that, and that tends to be a pretty long break for folks. And to put that in the middle of summer school makes it problematic. So it's more of a logistical issue than anything. And we find it's easiest to get staffing in June. So it just tends to work out a little bit better that way.
I'm curious, were there any discrepancies or disparities in the enrollment numbers between June and July for the enrollment?
So you know, in July, it's actually two totally different kinds of summer schools in June and July. So it was by invitation in July. We struggled mightily to get folks to come to July summer school. We had to way over invite to get a full slate of kiddos in July. Yeah, and I guess that's also probably a good, to your question, Mr. Moore, it's a good indicator of how successful we'd probably be if we had our regular summer school in July. It's just hard getting anybody to come in July.
Have we considered how it's marketed? There's a preconceived notion in many instances about using the term summer school.
Sure.
And it is summer school, but the goals are different than one considers traditional summer school.
Sure.
So maybe if we advertised it differently or communicated it differently, we would garner more students.
We actually get really good attendance in June. And so I don't know that it's, we actually are at the point where we're just about full in that we really struggle more with getting enough staff to handle the number of students that we get. We get really good attendance in June.
All right.
A lot of our, and actually we used to call it Smart Start, which ended up being more confusing than anything. So, because we had that exact same thought. So we call it summer school. It seems to be just a little bit easier for everybody to remember, I suppose.
I'm just curious about incentives to get the staff to do it, and also with some type of redesign with the marketing, just those two coupled together, so
Yeah.
it seems like a attractive option as opposed to feeling like a, punitive or what have you.
Yeah, so we, as far as staff goes, we definitely increased the incentive to be a summer school staff last year, and that we upped the pay, which is the big incentive, obviously, to do it. We are going to continue that pay structure for this coming year because we just feel it's an appropriate amount to pay our staff members. We actually used to have an incentive for students way back when, where we paid them $50.
I remember.
Yeah,
It was
for
100.
attendance.
It was 100.
It was 100.
That was $100.
That was a waste.
No, it was not a
I will
waste.
tell you, my kids, they held on to that $100.
Oh,
They
they
held
did,
on to
yes.
that. They did not waste
It
it.
was a nightmare.
Well, that was back when we got funding for summer school.
Well, we used to get double funding, actually.
Yeah.
Now we're just getting single funding, so it's not lucrative by any means.
Right.
We break even, or don't, actually.
Understood.
Is there any financial impact on the budget by doing this change?
No.
Either way?
No, it's You may be saving.
Thank you.
And many thanks to Dr. Tarvin. He's put in a whole lot of work to determine if this is the best route for us to go, and he's done a fantastic job.
Appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
That's why you need a motion on this,
Just for the dates. Just for the dates.
Madam President.
Yes.
I move the board approve district summer school for grades K through 12 as presented.
Second.
All right, thank you guys. Moving on to presentations and recognitions. Did you know? And as she makes her way up here, we just want to tell Danielle we are very appreciative of the job you have done. Today's her last day? Tomorrow. And thank you.
Not too late.
Thank you for remembering.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much. Yes, after 9 years, I'm emotional, and that's not what's on Did You Know? So we're going to keep it moving, but I really do appreciate just everything being a part of this community, and that will absolutely continue. On Did You Know, I'm going to first direct you to our Rivalry boys and girls basketball games. They have rescheduled the reschedule, and that is scheduled for this Wednesday, February 16th at Raytown High School. So we're hoping we get to play and continue to enjoy that tradition. We have middle school all-district orchestra. We have middle school students from around the district. They participated in the KC Metro District Number 3 all-district orchestra at Liberty North High School. So we have students here listed on Did You Know from each middle school, and the post is also on Facebook where we shout out the individual students that were a part of that. This is also National School Counseling Week, so if you see a counselor or want to reach out to one and thank them for all that they do for our students, this is the time to do that. We have Fbla state qualifiers from Raytown High School and Raytown South High School. They participated in the Future Business Leaders of America contest and had top qualifiers from both schools. And this was actually, this year, Raytown South High had a total of 8 students who qualified for the State Leadership Conference. And as mentioned, as Dr. Shelton mentioned early, it is National School Board, March 6th through the 12th will be National School Board Recognition Week. But we have Mayor Mike McDonough here to do an official proclamation. So like that.
Thank you, Danielle. You will be missed. Good evening. As you all know, I'm Mayor Mike McDonough, City of Raytown. Raytown South Class of 73, a product of the Raytown school system, very proudly so. I appreciate all that you all do. I also appreciate very much what the staff and the teachers do. But you all are the leaders, and you all are the people's representatives. So your decisions, as you know, will make a big impact. But it also makes a big impact for our community, because if we didn't have a good school district, there wouldn't be a reason for people to come moving here, and I'm starting to see a lot of younger folks starting to move here. So I find that really interesting and exciting. So anyway, I'm going to continue on here and give you all your yearly proclamation that I'm so proud to always give every year at this time. Whereas an excellent public education system is integral to the quality of life of the citizens in the Raytown community, whereas school board members offer outstanding leadership and demonstrate tireless, committed service to the patrons and children of the Raytown School District, and whereas our school board members provide a solid foundation for our school system, which is the structure through which our community's future leaders are produced, and whereas school board members are strong advocates for public education through their work to understand the needs of our schools, and they dutifully lead the way toward ensuring that those needs are met. Now therefore, I, Michael McDonough, Mayor of the City of Raytown, do hereby proclaim the week of March 6th through the 12th, 2022 as School Board Recognition Week, and I call upon all residents to join this worthy observance in recognition of the Board of Education's essential role in ensuring the well-being and betterment of our community. The work they do to ensure the quality of our education system is of the utmost importance. Signed this 14th day of February in the year 2022, Michael McDonough, Mayor. Thank you very much for all you do.
Thank you, Santa, Mayor.
You what?
I said, thank you, Santa, Mr. Mayor.
Here you go.
All right, and then also with me here, I have some staff members from Laurel Hills and Transportation. As a district, we always talk about safety being our top priority, and today we wanted to recognize just a few staff members who went above and beyond when they found a kindergarten student at a bus stop. So the driver of bus 48 found a kindergarten student at the bus stop. The student expressed that they went home and found the front door open, but they were unable to find anyone else in the house, and they were very nervous. The bus driver acted very quickly, and dispatch instructed the driver to take the student back to Laurel Hills, where they were greeted by Laurel Hills staff, taken care of, comforted, and then the parents were ultimately contacted, and they were reunited with the family. So this was a situation that, we've seen go all too wrong in other situations, and so we just want to bring those staff members up to be recognized for going above and beyond for their safety, for the safety of their students.
I'm Kevin Easley, I'm the Director of Transportation, and I have the honor of introducing Doreen Houghton. She's been the driver of Bus 48 for several years now, and she's always such a very conscientious employee, does such a good job. We also have Alex West, her son, who's a student at Southwood, is frequently on the route that I drive. So if you could join me in giving Doreen a round of applause and recognition. And Mr. Britt, thank you for being there to support transportation to make sure the student was reunited with their parents. We really appreciate the support from the building. So, thank you all. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Madam President, I just wanted to say one other word to thanks Danielle. Appreciate all the work you have done, because you've always been responsive to us, in the board when we have questions or need something from you. And I especially think about convocation. That's probably my favorite day of the year, and I know you do so much work in putting on a great convocation every year. So thank you, we'll miss. I'm glad we have Brooke here to fill in this time, because you guys do both great jobs. So congratulations and good luck.
All right, we are public comment period. We have two that have signed up to speak. Marie Tracy, if you want to make your way forward, you have 5 minutes allotted to each person, and so we will go from there.
Good evening. My name is Marie Tracy. I'm president of Raytown NEA, a professional organization that represents 200 employees of the district, and I'm also a teacher. I work at Northwood with some of our most vulnerable student populations. We see this a lot. This has not been an easy couple of years to be a teacher. I also want to acknowledge it's not been an easy time to be a parent. It's not been an easy time to be a student. And I know it's been difficult for you as the admin and the board as well. And I want to thank you for all that you have done to keep us safely in school. There have been lots of hard decisions, and things like continuing the mask mandate, virtual parent-teacher conferences, all of those help keep our COVID numbers low, help us be in person, help our students have teachers and substitutes there to serve them. And I want you to know that staff see what you're doing and that we appreciate it too. You've had a lot of tough decisions. I know you've got another one tonight, and I just really wanted to thank you for what you are doing to keep students safe and in the buildings as much as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Janelle Helps.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you.
It's the day of love. And you know what I love? Being able to breathe freely. And I love my kids to be able to breathe freely as well, but they can't at this school right now, which is very disappointing. You know, I watched the Super Bowl last night. Did anybody else watch the Super Bowl? You know what I noticed? I noticed that tens of thousands of fans were mask-free, and hundreds of celebrities were mask-free, but not our students. Sounds like discrimination to me. How we discriminate and we tell our students they have to be masked. They look around and they see everybody else unmasked. It's not right. There's something not right about that. COVID numbers are down in our county and they're trending down. And nearly everyone has either had COVID, so they have natural immunity, or they've been vaccinated. So it's time to make masks optional in our school district, please. Please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to board reports. Do we need a motion before we discuss?
Committee reports, no.
Can I get a motion?
Madam President,
There is one action.
I move the Board of Education accept the minutes from the 9/13/21 Curriculum and Instruction Committee meeting.
Second.
Discussion?
I would like to point out that in this particular committee meeting, we discussed the MAP and EOC test results from this past year, and you'll see that they're attached as an agenda item. It was a challenging year to be a teacher. It was a challenging year to be a student, as you've heard from our two speakers. And the state saw across the board drops in MAP and EOC scores, and we reflected the state across the board pretty well in all the tested areas. I will also point out that we had an additional advantage or disadvantage last year over the majority of the state in that if you're a high school or middle school student, you did not have one normal day of school the entire year last year. At best, you came to school 2 days a week. For elementary school kids, 40% of them were virtual the entire year. And we did have some in-person days for a good number of our kiddos, which was very helpful. But the majority of the state went to school every day last year. When you get outside of St. Louis and Kansas City and Springfield, most of those kids were in school most all of the year. And that's who we were compared with last year. So I would just encourage you to keep that in mind as we look at numbers. But I'm very proud as to how our teachers did and how our students did, given the incredibly challenging environment that they were in last year. So. And also on there is attached the MSIP guidelines, MSIP 6 guidelines. We'll have more on that as we come because the scoring guide has not been released by the state yet. So we really don't know how that's going to be scored, but we do at least know what the rules are. So you can certainly take a look at that when you're needing some help falling asleep one night. Be a good reader. So.
Thanks, Dr. Huff. I would encourage all board members to review the MSIP 6 overview document if you haven't had a chance to do so.
All right, Raytown Education Foundation report.
Yes, if I can get it open. Okay, the Raytown Education Foundation held their January meeting on January 26, 2022. Highlights from that meeting are as follows. The Share of the Love breakfast, the Foundation Share of the Love community breakfast was held last Wednesday. While the in-person attendance was fewer, the event was fortunate to have a strong financial support from its sponsors and the community at large. Let's see. Okay, Pillar Awards. The Foundation Pillar Awards were featured at the Share the Love Community Breakfast. The Pillar Awards recognize individuals, companies, or organizations that have furthered the Foundation mission and vision through exceptional philanthropic contributions or exceptional service. The 2022 Pillar Award recipients are The pillar of giving was the Verlinden family, and the pillar of service was Mary Orler. New scholarships, the foundation is pleased to announce 4 new scholarships for graduating seniors. The first one was the Julio Bambini Memorial Scholarship, established by the Raytown Soccer Club to honor the memory of Julio Bambini. Julio was a founding member of the club and the driving force in its organization of soccer in our community. Before her retirement, Julio's wife, Sue Bambini, served as the Raytown Quality Schools Board of Education Secretary. The second scholarship was the William Hart Frederick. William Hart, or From the Heart Scholarship, established by Bill's family and friends to honor Bill Frederick. Bill was supportive of education and served on the Raytown Education Foundation Trustees, Board of Trustees for 20 years. Bill's wife, Sally Frederick, is a Raytown High alumnus and taught at Raytown South High School for 31 years. The next scholarship was the Raytown Arts Association Scholarship, established by the Raytown Arts Association to assist high school students interested in pursuing a career in art. And then the last scholarship was the Verlinden Family Scholarship, established by members of the Verlinden family to assist Raytown quality students access to college education. I'll get it right in a minute. Ann and Jerry have been active members of the Raytown community for 46 years. Jerry served as a Raytown Quality School math educator for 32 years. All 3 of their children are Raytown High School graduates. That's the report. Any questions? We'll turn it over to Mark.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. All right, moving on. Making a motion for 12-1.
Madam President, I move that the Board of Education approve the 2022-2023 academic calendar as presented.
Second.
Discussion? Discussion? Is there anything you'd like to?
Unless you have questions about it, I mean, as Ms. Payton said, it's as presented.
Moving on. Can I get a motion for 12-2?
Madam President, I move that the Board of Education require masking indoors at all facilities and buses until.
So the recommendation from administration is to make mask optional or recommended beginning February 18th. Making that recommendation based on the trend of cases declining rapidly, as well as Kansas City, Missouri's ordinance, which is the only ordinance that impacts us at this time, is scheduled to end on the 17th. And there are no indications that they are going to extend that ordinance. So it's our recommendation that masks become optional or recommended, however you might want to word that, beginning February 18th, this Friday.
So they become optional or recommended as opposed to?
Required.
So in essence, what you're voting on is for the mask mandate from you as a board to end, and then after that, there is no mandate from you. So it would end, according to this, Friday, the 18th.
So the required mask mandate will end?
That's what you're voting on.
Okay.
That's the recommendation.
I second the motion.
That's our recommendation. You would have to amend the motion based on,
Okay, the motion we have is to,
the motion you have is different than
Yeah.
what we're recommending.
Unless you, just, no.
No, it's saying, all you have to do
It
is say
says
that.
until.
I
so-
apologize. Yes, I apologize. You're correct.
Until
Yeah,
2/18/22.
Yeah,
You're correct.
that's it.
So I second the motion.
You didn't need to change it.
Thank you.
You don't
You just gotta add a date to it, it's all
Change it.
correct.
Any discussion?
So just went for clarity, let's say it one more time, so I want to make sure.
The
Okay,
mask
just wait one more
mandate,
time.
the mask mandate will end on the 17th, and mask will become optional or recommended on the 18th.
do you guys know, what are some of the surrounding districts?
Right.
Like Grandview, Hickman Mills, Kansas City, do you know what they're currently doing? Independence?
No, I don't. Some have them required, some have them optional.
A good number of them are doing, just what we've been doing, is as they're following the mandates as they are, either like Kansas City or Jackson County.
Dr. Shelton, federal mandate does say that they are supposed to stay on buses until March.
Right. Public transportation is different, so buses are.
Okay,
buses
that would
isn't-
mean we would need to, it's in our motion, so
Yeah,
we would
it
just
needs
go
to be
with
changed then.
Okay, so what's that again? For clarity.
Buses.
That would mean,
Control over the
Just
federal
delete
road
bus,
anyway.
just delete the words "and" to buses.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So the one who did the original motion will need to make an amendment.
Bobby, could I get
Are
you
you
to
okay with that amendment to
Yeah.
delete "and" buses?
Yeah,
And I'm okay as a
Yeah.
first and second.
sorry,
Is that right, Jeff?
the date's wrong. Sorry. Hold on.
I think it's great that Rachel's able to do that. Well, we're waiting.
so Rachel, you're gonna leave the 17th in there instead of the 18th?
I thought it was required until the 17th becoming effective.
18th,
The motion said the 18th.
the 18th.
Okay.
Well,
It
this
doesn't
is,
matter either way.
this is actually
18th are not
technically,
in buildings.
yeah, this is actually
Okay.
more technically correct. It would go, that would mean it would go through the 17th and be over.
Okay.
So it's required
good
until
with
the
it.
17th.
Yeah.
Okay, required until the 17th.
That'd be our last day of staff being in.
We don't need to repeat it anymore since it's got it clear, right? Sorry about that, guys.
Is there any more discussion? Ready to vote?
Madam President,
Yes.
I move the board approve the purchase of elementary furniture from SSI Furnishings in the amount of $796,875.
Second.
Discussion?
I have a question on that one.
Yeah, they got a presentation.
Okay, I'll wait for your
All right,
presentation.
very good. Thank you, Ms.
Yeah.
Salisbury. Kevin, would you mind pulling up that presentation? We're going to turn it over to Justin Durham from Paulson Miller and Josh Husted, our Director of Facility Operations.
Thank you, Doctor. Not to be outdone, I am Raytown High School class of '97. We had a South guy, we got to even out the score a little bit, so we're 1-1 again. So we wanted to take a few minutes tonight and present to you an update on the furniture process that we have taken to the district. So we just got done giving this presentation to the Finance Committee this afternoon. And it's a pretty important project because it's something that's going to affect just about every elementary school kiddo in the district. So let's walk through this really quickly. So we started this process a few months ago, and tonight we're going to share with you some of the demo rooms that we have done. So we worked with the contractor SSI, who is a district preferred FF&E contractor, furniture, fixtures, and equipment contractor. And they set up several demo rooms across the district. So you can go ahead and go to the next slide for us. And gave us a bunch of different options, a bunch of different tables, chairs, stools, some soft seating to look at and demo before we make any purchases. So that way it's kind of a try before you buy it type period. You can go and go to the next. So what we did is we put these in Southwood, we put them in several classrooms and gave the principals, the teachers, and the students the ability to use these different pieces and then give us feedback on it so that we could really hone in on the pieces that we wanted to spend the money on to best, improve each one of the classrooms. So go ahead next. So the demo classrooms that we're about to show you here, next. So this is a typical setup that we did for the kindergarten rooms. Again, at the top or on the right-hand side of the screen there, you'll see some of the different things that we were able to purchase and let them use for a few months. I think they've been in since October, so they've used them for a few months. One of the things that Josh brought up in the last meeting was they thought when we set these rooms up like this, that they had to stay that way. But that was not the case. We were encouraging them to move things around and really experiment on different ways to set up the rooms, use the rooms, because different teaching styles require different setups sometimes, right? So you could really truly make this a very customized layout. And so we gave them all these different options on all the kindergarten rooms. They got to try them out, and then go ahead and go to the next slide. For a second demo room, you can see a little bit different layout. So we have some more trapezoidal tables and things like that, some more individual pieces. So we gave them options on tables for 2 or 3 students, 4 students, and then we gave them what you see here is more of an individual type of layout. And it just gives a little bit different versatility. Next. And so on that, we did get a lot of feedback. You can see the feedback in the presentation of what they liked, what they didn't like, and some things like that. So with that, we'll go ahead and go to the next one, I believe. Here's some of the pieces that we did go ahead and select. So you can see here we've got some of the single student tables, we have some of the larger tables, we have chairs, some wobble stools, and then the things that you see down on the bottom right are some of those reading nook areas, the little special rooms, right? We wanted to make those really warm, cozy, and inviting for the students that would grab a book and maybe go read in the classroom. So we gave them some nice soft seating and some stools that they could kind of go in and relax and read a book. So pretty important. Next. Here we go through classrooms grades 1 and 2. So a little bit different layout, but a lot of the same furniture. We wanted to be very consistent in the look, right? But we want to make sure it's the appropriate size for the different age groups. Next. And here's some of the feedback that we got from that group. So pretty short list. I think they liked what they saw and it was able to be customizable. So that's some of the furniture that we're looking at for grades 1 and 2. Next, please. Next. So grades 3 through 5, we gave them a few more options. One of the comments was, we had students ranging from 18 to 22 in just about every classroom. And so
Number of students.
in the number of students. And so we do have furniture in here for up to 24, 25 students, just in case you do have a little bit of a bubble or a larger classroom. So what you see here is accommodating of that, so if you were to count those chairs. So in 3 through 5, this is kind of the layout that we use, some of those singular tables, and then some of the larger tables that can be grouped for bigger group activities. Next, please. And some of the review notes that we got on the pieces of furniture that were selected. Next. And this is kind of what we ended up with. The teachers really love those bigger desks and some of the individual tables. The thing here is that we want to update and have a consistent look throughout the district, and that's going to be accomplished a couple of ways. So before we end, I know Ms. Eusta would like to talk to you about some of the furniture that we currently have and how that's going to be reallocated. Next, please. So just looking at this, this is just a district verification. So after the process of letting the teachers use it, gathering that feedback, we went back and met with them again just to verify that we heard them correctly. And these are the pieces of furniture that we have currently ordered for each different of the grade levels, right? So these are the pieces that best fit the way that the classrooms work, and based on the feedback, it's the best furniture that we could provide through SSI to accommodate the new furniture for the district. I believe there's about 70 classrooms worth of furniture, and so we did the math in the last meeting. I think there's about 162, so there's about 3 classes per grade level, so K through 5, at the 9 elementary schools that we're looking at. That's about 162 classrooms. So when you do the math, it's going to impact about 43% of our classroom kiddos that get this new furniture. So it's a pretty big impact.
So when you look at, one of the things Dr. Moore has done since he came in is wanting to have some continuity between classrooms where all the students' furniture matches and looks good. We've not been able to do that for some time. So what we're able to do is go through, and our goal by the time this is all over is that all classrooms will have matching furniture. So it may not be the all new, but we'll repurpose it in the 9 buildings that we're doing. The only elementary building we're not doing is Little Blue, just because it's still fairly new. Their furniture is still in pretty good shape, as opposed to when you look at in comparison to others around the district. So in district we'll move to where we have, when you walk into Justin's classroom, he will have all wood grain desks, kidney table, matching chairs. Whereas if you walk into my classroom, I may have all new gray Nebula, but it will match everything in each classroom will match with matching chairs, and that will be the best of what we have with existing furniture. What questions do you guys have?
I was just going to mention to the board, we did discuss this in the Finance Committee meeting tonight, and we just also repeat that these are bond funds that are being used to purchase this equipment, new furniture.
I thank you for your time. Appreciate your vote.
Thank you, guys. I'm anxious to come and sit in that one funny-looking chair, the one that twirls around.
Rick answered my question, so I don't need to ask. But I do want to make the statement, I haven't seen, and correct me because that may have been an oversight on my part. We used to put on the budget impact on items that we were purchasing, and I don't think have we been doing it? Because I may have missed it on.
If it's a purchase that wasn't budgeted for, if a purchase is built into our budget, there's no impact to the budget because it's already part of the budget.
Okay.
If it's a purchase that is outside of our budgeted funds,
Yeah, I'll put
then
it on there.
we would add that. But these are budgeted funds.
Okay. Thank you.
It does show the bonded budget.
Yeah. But I was just going to ask the basic question on it.
Moving on, naming committee. Would you like to speak to
So,
that?
as it says, there's been a request to name the Raytown High School's choral rehearsal room. And so we're going to put together a naming committee and bring recommendations to the board if we decide that's what.
Somebody submitted a letter to you, I
Yes,
guess?
I believe that Dr. Murphy, yes.
And so what's the timeline on that?
I would assume that you would probably have something at the March meeting.
Okay.
Madam President,
Yes.
I move that the board approve the February 14th, 2022 consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Madam President. On one of the consent items,
Yes.
the budget impact, I'm sorry, that's another note. Under the contracts and agreement, what we're talking about, can we flip there?
Do you know which,
And it's the one that's on the contracts and agreement.
on the, sorry,
Contracts and agreement.
14.9? Did we get?
Which of those two do you have questions about?
The first one. It's on there. I'm not looking at it, so I can't, okay, here we
Yeah,
go.
the first
Children's
one-
service fund.
The first one is actually just a grant agreement, essentially. It's not costing us anything.
No. It wasn't about budget impact. I just had a question on, I know that they pay us a certain dollar amount, right? They pay the district money?
I tell you what, Robert's here.
Okay.
I'm going to have Robert speak to this one.
Is the question on the
Children's
Jackson County?
Services Grant at Jackson County.
Yeah,
So the-
I just wanted a little
Jackson County
background
Children's
info on
Student
it.
Fund grant, they supply, they fund 3 social workers' salaries, one at Raytown High, one at
Okay.
Raytown South, and Central Middle School. So every year we have to enter into a contract with them that the grant is existing between the two organizations, and they continue to supply the funding for the 3 social workers' salaries.
Okay, and those social workers are in what?
One is at Raytown High School, one is at Raytown South High School, and one is at Central Middle School.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, excuse me.
That's it.
Well, since we're stopped on that, just one quick question. So I'm great to bid the South High upper gym floor, but so it looks like we're going to have to replace that whole floor? We're not gonna be able to just support it underneath?
You can't get to anything underneath, so it has to be supported. That floor is dead. If you ever try to dribble a basketball on it, it doesn't even respond to it anyways.
Okay.
But in order to use those bleachers, yes, we have to go through and basically that whole radius where those bleachers go, you have a 2x10, you have a 1x that goes across that, and those are actually cracked underneath there, so require ripping the floor up, reframing everything, and then going back in with new floor.
Pretty expensive, probably.
Yep.
All right. Thank you.
Hang on just a second.
Did I vote? Did we vote on it?
Oh, you didn't take no, it hasn't been called yet.
We are.
Did we vote?
I don't remember hitting it. We vote?
We voted on consent.
We did?
Yeah.
I did. Okay.
Okay, open session is finished and we are going to recess together back for
Closed session?
closed session.
All right.
So thank you all for coming tonight. We appreciate you being here and let it be known I am under an hour.